Welcome to Chaotic Harmony. My name is John.
This is Crystal. We talk about the joys and the challenges of teaching music in the elementary school classroom.
We share struggles, we brainstorm solutions.
And we would love to have you join us. All right, welcome back to Chaotic Harmony this week, you guys.
Welcome. Before we start, have you heard of Wordle?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I feel like the music education realm, as I go through Twitter, has been on fire with Wordle. It's
really
curious.
My entire Facebook feed is Wordle.
Yeah. I don't know if Wordle is, because we're recording this before we actually release it, so I have no clue if it's going to be still big, but it's just an interesting observation. Hi, I'm John Seligman.
I think it reached the tipping point, and so everybody's like,
possibly.
All of it. Yeah, that's how it goes. It's a fad.
Welcome to Chaotic Harmony.
Wake up. Brought to you by.
Yes.
We just gave them some free advertising.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Okay,
You're welcome.
so today's episode is titled Absences in COVID Protocols and Sub Shortages. Oh, my.
Oh, no. Oh
my.
Oh, no. So,
it has been an adventure.
Yeah, it has been. First off, have you had to substitute?
Yes, I have. No, not a whole day.
Okay.
Yeah, but we have had, so we have a ranking from our principal for officially who covers classes if there is a lack of subs.
Okay.
So there have to be 5 or more subs out, or people out with no sub coverage before me and the art teacher are pulled.
Okay.
To cover classes, because we supply teacher prep time, and I'm really glad that she prioritizes that.
Yeah.
And they really need it, and I think
do.
it's burnout protection, and the gen ed teachers still have all of these requirements piled on top of them, so they're working really hard. They need their
Everyone's
prep.
working so hard, and
Yes.
I think that's the thing.
Everyone's tired.
But let's just put an asterisk here. As stressful as this title that you've just exuded may have placed upon every single individual, from the general ed teacher, from the music teacher to the admin, we're all working hard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yes, and I think it's important to acknowledge that everyone is working hard. It's not just some people. Everybody, there is a collective exhaustion. Yes, and just teacher struggle everywhere.
Educational struggle.
Yes.
Parental struggle.
Yes.
Yeah.
I actually saw on my Facebook that there was a group of high school moms who got together on the football field to scream. It was like an event, like somebody's Facebook event. A planned event. And I'm like, wow, if that's what we're doing.
I mean,
it's a literal cry for help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like the level of stress and exhaustion has just reached this
frustration.
Yeah. And frustration has reached a point.
We have been in this situation since March. We've almost reached our 2-year mark.
Yeah.
And so you've done part-time. I did a whole class session. I taught 5th grade. That was fun.
Woohoo. For a whole day?
For a whole day.
Wow.
I have not been a sub for 8 years.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm patting my leg. Anyways, but
for emphasis.
Yeah, I've not been a sub for 8 years, and it's fascinating. So I was teaching mathematics, and I love math. I love math. I've mentioned this on the podcast before, possibly, but I was considering becoming an engineer before going to music education. Before even going to music composition.
I did not know this about you. Interesting.
Right before, and if it was not for music theory in 11th grade, I would have went towards engineering.
Okay.
Definitely had my eyesight. So I love mathematics. Teaching mathematics is something entirely different.
Yeah.
Going beyond that, I think about also I taught science as well. So it was like a full-on session where I teach math and science. And anyway, and I haven't subbed for a long time, and so just it was strange.
It's a completely different way to think.
Yeah, and like. In the one sense, I recognize, okay, this is a one-time dealio. I'm helping. I am doing a service to my community.
Yeah,
but like
it's all hands on deck.
No, very much.
Yeah.
Like, I had no gripes. I totally get it.
Yeah.
And like the teachers who also were supposed to see me for music, they also totally got it.
Yeah.
Frustrated, but they got it.
Right.
Because we found out the day of.
Yeah.
So like.
Yeah.
But it was like, in the one sense also is fun because we were talking about exoplanets and science and like. I brought in, like, I talked about Interstellar. Have you seen the movie Interstellar or not?
I haven't.
Okay.
No.
It's about like the world is dying, and so we have to go to looking for different planets.
Okay.
And so that's kind of what exoplanets are about. Kind of. I mean, not the idea of the world dying. So like.
Yeah.
But anyways, like it was cool to interact with kids in a different light. But it was, man. this is not what I was trained for.
No, not at all. It is nice that we have a relationship built with them.
Definitely.
So it's not like walking into a classroom full of kids you don't know.
Definitely.
I definitely had to lay down at the beginning though, like, hey, I know you're not used to seeing me in this room, but I'm wearing my ting sha and my normal classroom procedures apply.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, and I know your names and I know your families. So don't try anything, kiddos.
I wish I had my singing bowl. It was very much a flurry, so I wasn't able to grab anything. I asked the student to like between recess to grab something, but like I wish I had my singing bowl. Definitely. I used my teacher's
bell or whatever
signal.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I have to admit, when I was reading down the sub plans, I was like, this sounds like it's going to be kind of day off. Like, because I'm used to being on all the time. You know, the way I teach, I don't sit down. I don't stop singing. There is some independent work, but the entire time the students are doing independent work, I'm walking around the room. I'm helping fill in gaps of learning. This was like 20 minutes silent reading, 20 minutes we're working on Achieve articles. I was like, do you mean I'm just like, I'm going to have 20 minutes to just make sure they're being quiet?
That wasn't the case for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was not my experience.
Okay. So that's different.
Different, yeah. Yeah, as I mentioned, what my lessons were, it was much more interactive. And I feel like also when we got silent, it felt awkward.
Yeah.
It was so silent. It's like, okay.
Because you're not used to that.
Something's got to do. You know, like I felt like fidgety all over the place. Yeah. Walked around the class.
To me, it's the difference between, you know, we're seeing them for 45 minutes or seeing them for an entire day.
Sure.
There's no room for silence when you see them 45 minutes once a week.
And also, we also sing. We also do music. And the things that we do are very auditory.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, they need the silent reading time. They need the silent writing time. Like, I'm not saying that because I'm saying it's wrong. It's important. That's a normal part of a school day.
And
yeah.
I've actually tried to incorporate that as a side into my students, into my lessons, despite the fact that I only have 35 minutes with my kids. I try to give more time for reflection, more time for like individual, also communal reflection. So I think I mentioned this in an earlier podcast. I can't recall, but like having kids close their eyes and think about what
doing
has
some
happened.
Mindfulness. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
that's important because that gets them centered in their bodies. I think that something kids have never been particularly good at is just being aware of where they are in space.
Yes.
Yeah. But I feel like
it takes practice.
It does take practice, and I think it's worse than usual right now because they have been on screens so much more than they even were, and it was already too much. You know, with the pandemic and distance learning and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So, so just like learning how to inhabit their own limbs. Yeah. It's important.
But I think about the fact that we've been called into these classes, and what does that say about the state of our education? It's hard. It
feels dark. I think that education was already in crisis. They were predicting massive teacher shortages when I was in my credential program.
Were they? Okay.
They were. Okay. Yeah, it was a big concern because there was a mismatch between how many people were coming into education programs and how many people were projected to retire.
Okay.
So they were already saying it was bad. And then I think just, you know, because a lot of people took retirement early because it was just, it's unsustainable what we're doing right now.
I was listening to a podcast, Dave Chang. He was talking. He's a chef or former chef. I'm not actually sure the proper title, but like he's in the food industry, and he talks about
the food.
He's in the food, and he was talking about like how COVID definitely expedited.
Yeah.
All the things that are on the horizon.
Expedited is a good word.
Yeah, because like he saw like the things that were the structures that were happening. It's like the mom and pops could not sustain themselves.
Yeah.
And if anything, COVID just like zipped it to like 10 years shorter.
Yep.
And I feel like if that's true, what you're saying, that definitely sped up that process too. That all said, I think about So we're talking about the education. Sorry.
Education shortages.
And it's so hard because I think about where that level starts.
Yeah.
And in the one sense, it's easy. Like, it's easy to not blame. Blame's the wrong word, but like I think about like the admin have to come in to try to support like the lack of teachers. But then if the admin don't have money, then they can't help.
It is such a web.
Yeah, it's a web.
It's no one person's fault. It is no one policy thing. But, it's seriously like a death by 1,000 cuts kind of situation.
Maybe it's the system's fault. I think that's the situation. I think the system, as we said earlier, the system, we've noticed that the system, and there are leaks and cracks, and I think COVID expedited us understanding where the leaks are. But like public education is just not well funded.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I think that's the biggest problem.
Right. Well, and we were mentioning in a previous podcast about how...
Several podcasts.
Yes, many.
Not just about shoes.
Level...
Mark, not just shoes.
The level of education that people are expected to have to go into education doesn't match our income at all.
No,
in any state. We're paid way too little for what's expected.
And that's why we have a sub shortage. I feel like the subs are, first off, it's not enough pay to place ourselves in risk this badly.
Well, yeah.
And even pre-risk to place yourself in this much stress. I remember talking to my friend who used to be a sub before he became a pastor. And he was saying, some days, like, wow, I'm being paid, I think it was $100 during this time. I'm being paid $100 to pay to take care of these amount of classes. Okay. And some days, wow, I'm being paid $100 to take care of these classes.
It's a lot.
It's so much.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Yeah. There's that. And it's not just that. Like, people looking at good careers for their future are in college right now, and they're not going to look at that for any length of time to education and say, yes, I can make good money doing that. That's worth it.
Are you talking about being a teacher or being a sub?
Oh, being a teacher.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, because people aren't entering. We have a teacher shortage.
Yes, we do.
We had an opening at our school, and we did not have very many applicants.
I think I stole one of your teachers.
Oh, okay, that's possible.
Yeah, but still, yeah.
It's just
a state of we have little amount of teachers.
We do,
and
there's not enough classroom teachers, and there sure as heck aren't enough subs.
COVID again has expedited the notion that I guess I'm gonna retire sooner than later.
Yep.
And so even more people are leaving.
Yeah, they've talked about the mass resignation, and I think it's like a mass wake up call. It's like I think COVID has sort of reminded us that life is really short. And so people are looking at their lives and looking at the things that don't make them happy and realizing that they can do something about it and want to use their voices and make them heard. And so they're finding other avenues.
Yes.
Yeah. It was interesting. I was talking to a friend who was talking about expediting the process. And I heard someone say that about relationships too, because I've known a lot of couples who have made some very big decisions.
Same here.
Yep. And it does seem like COVID has just sort of expedited whatever the outcome of the relationship was going to be in some of the cases I'm thinking about. So
all negative or some positive? Curious.
Yeah, it's a mixture.
Okay, mixture. Okay.
Yeah, I know a lot of couples who've gotten. I know a lot of couples who've gotten closer.
Okay, cool.
Who've said that the time during distance, working, brought them closer together, helped them get their family priorities straightened out. Like I know one couple I'm thinking of, one of them did a lot of travel before the pandemic, and so now they're home all the time and really reorganizing their family life and prioritizing their relationship, and some of the things that were a struggle before just aren't now. So not all negative.
And I think what you were saying earlier, like how this is not, it's hard. It's easy to blame the workers. Yeah. Because they just want they want to siphon off of government funds, or they are just being lazy. But really, as you're saying, it's a wake-up call. Yeah. The fact that if companies are not providing enough money for them to be sustainable, or if they're the workplace, and I'm not speaking about our district or any district in particular, I'm just talking about as a global situation,
collectively,
especially in America, is like if the companies are not like upholding good work ethic, and there's been a lot of news on big corporations like Activision where there's just terrible situations going on, and you wonder why there's a shortage. Well, if it's not being sustainable, and also if there's not people. Exactly, yeah. And this is a big wake up call. I
think a lot of teachers that I've talked to, they already weren't. And I'm not talking about local teachers. I'm mostly thinking of teachers in other states. They already weren't feeling valued in their careers. Their pay did not match their expertise. They didn't feel valued by their community. And now any board meeting you go to is just so contentious.
Have you been to one?
I have.
It's ugly.
It's
bad.
It is bad.
And everyone's just on the polar ends.
Yes. Everyone's really stressed. And that's never a good foundation for having any kind of discourse.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've been in crisis mode too long. And I'm concerned.
I am too.
Yeah. And here we are in our schools trying to day by day teach our kids how to be good people.
No, seriously. And meanwhile, I mentioned this on a podcast. I must have. Mm-hmm. I remember there was this TikTok of this teacher was doing a field trip, and a kid was acting out, and the teacher says, "Can you please act like an adult?" And the student says, "Why would I? You adults are doing terrible things." And it's like, yeah, you're right. We try to instill so hard into our kids good values.
Yeah.
And sometimes when it hits the fan,
yeah,
like we don't exactly uphold those.
Well, of course not. We're all people and we make mistakes. And I think that we need to be okay with telling the kids that. But it feels hard. Yeah. It really does. Yeah, I'm concerned too about the amount of school that kids have missed this year. I've never seen anything like it. There are so many classes where I'm missing, at least 4, if not way more than that, depending if we have a case or something, and then people have to get excluded from class. Yeah, I made the comment a couple months into school to my teaching partner that it almost feels like I'm teaching for a posh private school with these class sizes.
That is fair. Yep.
The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends that there's no more than 12 kids in an elementary class.
Wait, really?
They do. That's a thing. Yeah, and I'm like, it only took a pandemic in order to get there. Who would have known?
Figure it out.
Yeah, well, that's the optimal. That's the optimal because that's how much they need adult attention in order to have the support that they really need.
But the problem is, in order to ensure the funding, they compress.
Yes.
And
it's about the money.
Public education was more well funded.
Yeah. There's a lot of things, but a lot of it comes back to lack of funding. Yeah. It's true. Yeah, we don't have enough resources. We don't have enough people. Here's our common thread. Yeah. We need more people.
We need more people. But in this case study or case situation, we need more funding for those well-trained people to be in our... Otherwise, they won't come.
People. Yeah. Yeah, they need to be well-trained, and then they need to be treated as human beings. They need to know that they're valued at their place of work.
Because my thing is, sure, if public education is not doing it, then why not go to a private institution? In my situation, my viewpoint is because it's not equitable. People of lower income are not going to join.
Having taught at those two, that's not the solution.
I remember a friend of mine, she was talking about how private institutions can often foster elitism.
They can,
not always, but it can often.
Sure.
And it's I think that I don't feel that that's the number one solution.
Yeah.
So, oof.
Oh, I believe in public education. I think it's important. That's why I teach in a public school. It really aligns with my values.
I believe everyone should be well educated.
Yes, everyone deserves access to that. Yeah.
That's why I don't charge for concerts.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's I believe music education should be accessible to all people.
Right. You want to be here? I want you here.
Of class or race or monetary demographics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree.
Okay.
Tear down the barriers. Yeah, but also stay home if you're sick.
Well, yeah.
There's that.
Wash your hands.
Please wash your hands.
I remember a phrase someone said, "Wash your hands and don't be racist." Thank you. 2-point mantra.
That's
Wash
good.
your hands, don't be racist.
There you go. Yep. Mm-hmm. Please sneeze into your elbow.
So I think about, why are we still music educators? That can sound very grim, but I was listening to some people talk, and they were sharing how music education you being a music teacher cannot be your identity.
Yeah, it can't. I went through a phase, I called it my music teacher Miss Frizzle phase, where my entire wardrobe was me wrapping myself in giant treble clefs and stuff. And yeah, it was my entire identity. And I realized...
Nerd.
Yeah. If you haven't figured that out by now.
No, I just need to remind you. That's all.
100%. I own that. Yeah, I realized that I hardly had anything in my wardrobe that wasn't related to my job. And I was like, oh man, this isn't good. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Think about Dan Nelson.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember when the last thing, so Dan Nelson was a
professor
of ours, passed away, sadly enough, but he had one of his last speeches to our alma mater was, he was talking about identity. Mm-hmm. And he was talking about me, because
he had Parkinson's and Lou Gehrig's disease. Yeah. And so he was a very gifted trumpet player, educator, conductor. Yeah. And when he slowly lost that.
When he lost the power of his hands, he shared, and like, he's just, what am I?
Yeah.
And for him, his words was, I'm a child of God. Mm-hmm. That was what he had to root himself in. And
I still have a bracelet from him that says, I am a child of God.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so in the one sense, I can't root myself in my identity as a music educator, because I think it's part of me, but that's not me.
It might be fleeting, especially where we are. We just never know.
Well, not just that, but like, I think to be healthy, that cannot be the core of who we are.
Totally.
So I ask
you are not your profession.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. You are not your income. You're not this.
No.
But
you're not your current housing situation. You're not your current relationship status, your family status, the car you drive,
the hair you have or don't have.
You're a human being.
Yes.
And you are inherently valuable because you are you.
Okay. With that in mind, why are you still a music educator?
You're asking me Crystal Pridmore?
Crystal Pridmore.
All right. I am still a music educator because I still feel that this job is the most powerful way for me to be as effective as possible and enact the greatest change. I feel like in my heart and soul, my purpose on this earth is to touch as many people as I possibly can and let them know that they are seen and loved, and help them be the best versions of themselves. And so for now, in this season of my life, and in my career thus far for the last couple of decades, that means I'm a music educator. And I don't see that changing anytime soon. I've never wanted to be anything else. But
really?
Yeah, really, I've wanted to be a music teacher since I was in 5th grade. And not necessarily the current, hippie orff teacher version that I am. It was, I used to want to be a band director and then a choral conductor, because I didn't know that this was an option. This is the best option.
Because we were in California and that didn't
It wasn't
exist.
a thing. Yeah. Well, and it wasn't in Alabama when I was there either. It was all band all the time, because that goes with football.
That's a topic for another time.
It is. It is. And oh my God, I loved marching band. Like that was my life. Yeah. But yeah, I was actually reflecting on this because, I feel like I've gone through a series of identities, as one does.
Yeah.
And I kept waiting to land. It's like there were all these ways I defined myself, and it's like, what am I really good at? What do I love? What consumes me? And I'm just like an all-in kind of person.
Same.
Yeah, I know. Like I do a thing, I do it all the way.
There's a podcast here.
A little bit passionate.
Just a wee bit.
Just a wee bit. 60 episodes in, and we still got stuff to say. We're getting there.
We're getting there.
We're getting there. Yeah, but yeah, I'm learning to not let the things that I do or the people that surround me be what defines me, and learning to be secure in myself. And I'm hoping that I can help a lot of other people get there too, and just rest in that. Like, you don't have to try, you don't have to strive, you don't have to shape, shift, and bend. This is my 3 stuff coming out again. It's been a while since we talked Enneagram.
Just a couple episodes. Hi there.
Hi. Yeah, I'm just, yeah, I don't have to play the role. I just get to be me, and I want to help other people be them.
Gotcha.
So how about you, Jonathan Seligman? Why are you still a music teacher?
I am still a music teacher because I believe in it. I believe in music. I believe that music does change lives. I believe that the ability to express, and maybe not just music, but the arts, and music is the avenue that I exude that in, or I teach that in. But the arts matter, and they can, first off, like, while androids are taking over the earth, like the thing that they have yet to tap into are the arts.
Yeah.
Everyone's song, everyone's voice matters. Everyone's voice matters, and how you exude that is up to you. But in order to harness that, art teachers need to exist.
Yeah.
And I find that Yeah, like, this is the best way I can make a positive impact upon the world. And there are many ways to do that, but I have to choose one. We all have to choose one. And so, like, I'm going to spend my time working on this. And I believe that the arts should not just be accessible to the rich.
Yep.
The arts cannot, and they have been, unfortunately, for so long. Like, you think about Mozart, you think about Beethoven, they served the royalty. Yeah. And only the courts had access to the music. Yes, the common people did, but the songs that we venerate are not that, sadly enough.
That's true.
So it's my job to fight for the fact that it's not just the richest voices that matter. It is every voice matters. Be it the marginalized, and also be it the people who have the spotlight as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
All people's voice matters.
Yep.
Everyone. I'm gonna reword that because that can come across as weird. Every person's voice matters. Every child's voice matters.
Yeah.
That's probably a better way to word it. And if they can find a way to exude that through music, then I've done my job.
Music is its own learning modality.
It is.
We know this.
Yes.
I've said this before. There's reading. There's audiating. There's so many different ways that we learn, and music is its own. And if you don't have a comprehensive music education in your schools, you are not serving the people whose primary learning modality is music. And that is a disservice to our society.
I also think about, I mentioned this in the last podcast when we were with Jasandra and Leah, about a PD I was at with Dr. Ladsa Billings and Franklin Willis. They were talking about how specifically Dr. Ladsa Billings, she was like, he's like, why do we bifurcate the science and the arts? And it's ridiculous.
It is.
And then I recently was on, if you're a California educator and on Twitter, you should definitely be a part of the hashtag CA Arts Ed Chat. Yes. Where we talk about different stuff. Be a part of it. It's good stuff. I forget who led the conversation on this one, but she pulled up a quote. It was either Pauline or it was Jeanette or Jean. I forget who said it. Anyways, it was a quote from Einstein. And
about his violin.
Well, he was talking about how I can actually just pull this up and I can try to filibuster. Like, so that all said, ... Because I think it's important that we get the quotient. He was a passionate
musician.
He was a violinist, and and it's important also that we get these quotations right.
I
because everything. I don't care about NFTs. NFTs are terrible. All right.
It's the arts, Jonathan.
Anyways, so the quotation was, "It occurred to me by intuition, and music was the driving force behind that intuition. My discovery was the result of musical perception." Albert Einstein. On its own, like in the vacuum, that quote is nice. But if you think about it, he was talking about his discovery on the theory of relativity. And he would not have discovered that if it was not for his understanding of music. If you're not musically, or if your desire is not to go into the arts, that's fine. But there are people that can double dip. There are people, and so like,
I think we all do.
And it gives
it's just a way to understand things in a deeper sense.
Exactly. Yes, and there are many people who do it. There's this woman, Ruby Ibarra, she's a scientist and a rapper, and like it helps us understand everything in a different light. So the reason why I'm still a music teacher, I believe in it. I believe in us exuding ourselves in safe spaces and brave spaces and important spaces. And so because of that, I'm gonna fight. We need to make sure that this is still upholding itself, because it's so needed, and we see it time after time how it's taken away just because of funding. And I'm concerned. I'm deeply concerned.
Because it's not tested.
It's not tested, and the paradigms that exist don't understand it.
Yeah, it's true. I
am thankful that I've been at a school site that understands the importance of the arts, but I know that my school is a unicorn. I've had amazing admin who have either been involved with the arts or arts adjacent. There are teachers who we are thinking of for our variety show having a teacher band, because many people have played either flute or clarinet or such. Yeah. So I am grateful and blessed and thankful that I've been surrounded by amazing educators that have that paradigm, but not everyone does. Yeah. Especially the higher ups. I'm speaking as to the straw man, but like the higher ups in general. Unfortunately, where the funding goes, it's not always to the arts.
Well, yeah, because they need to show proof that their interventions are working, and they need to show it in numbers and data, and those data are provided by testing.
But what if how we see things is not the best way?
Yeah, I know. What if we burn it all down? I'm with you. Like, please, I would love that. I think the most healing thing that we can be doing right now is learning how to work together. And there's no better way to do that than by sitting and making music together. I had a magical moment in many of my classes last week. I've been working on a stick routine to We All Need More Kindness in This World, which
Saw that. It was amazing.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite Guy Davis songs. And I took an idea from another teacher and I transferred it onto some sticks to make it more COVID friendly. And it took a couple of classes for them to really get it. But we had a moment in several classes this week where it just locked in. They had it. It was in their body. They were working together. They were switching partners. They were doing a circle game. They were all doing this rhythm together, and it was near perfection. And the feeling in that room was like that magical combination of intense concentration and joy. And it was like, oh, this is it. This is what I want. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is what everybody deserves to be part of, is something bigger than them. Yeah. That's the feeling when I was growing up that I got in music ensembles and in church, which was the first place that I learned to make music with other people, in choir. Yeah. And everyone deserves that, to understand what that feels. It's like I have this thing in me that is contributing to this big, beautiful thing, and learning how to be that individual solidly rooted in yourself who has a place in the larger community. I think that's the key to so many things. And especially during these COVID times. Yes, when many of our kids have not been connected to other people. Especially during early COVID, when schools were closed. They have not had that ability. It is vital as music educators for us to tap into that. Mm-hmm. Going back to that PD I was a part of, Dr. Latson-Bones was talking about the necessity to release grief. This was not her words. I wish I remember her words, but it was the necessity to release grief, and we've not had that ability. And music has that notion. And we talked about this in season 2 when everything closed. Yeah. Was that season 2? Wow. Season 1, season 2? I don't remember. The time was a while ago. But like, we have not had that ability to actually process the grief. Yeah. And we've talked about this with PMEA. We've talked about this on this podcast. We've talked about it several times. And talked about my webinar. And your webinar, exactly. Yep. And it's needed. And it is. Right now, I think about trying to bring it back to the sub-shortage situation, and like us teachers being frustrated. Yeah. What is the solution? I mean, we're 2 weeks back from winter break and everybody's so tired. I went into the teacher's lounge and you could just see it. Yeah. First off, the lack of teachers there. We've only had, there's that, because everybody's worried and distancing and also just tired. The key part is tired. There's a weariness. We've had 2 4-day weeks and we're feeling this way. I know. This is week 3 we're coming to? Yeah. And the first 5-day week back with kids. I came back to my roommates, and my roommates were just saying, John, you should just cancel choir tomorrow. Yeah. You look so tired. Yeah. I told you I've been in bed by 7 every night. Showered in bed. And there are many elements to the quote unquote solution. Mm-hmm. I think there are things that are unfortunately out of our direct grasp that we can affect. There are things you could probably talk to your union, talk to your district, talk to your admin about. But like you as a music educator, my thought goes to, what can you do for your community to find a way to work with this constant grief and this constant stress? Yeah. And that I don't have an answer, because it's dependent upon each in your community. Sometimes it looks like helping them process it together. Sometimes it looks like providing some moments of joy and some possibilities for connection. Yeah. I've been focusing a lot on rhythm games, spoken rhythm games, and then like stick games that they can do on the playground. When I first came to my school, they didn't do clapping games on the playground. I didn't hear any jump rope games or like clapping games. So I kind of made it my personal mission to teach them some of them. And get that back on the playground again. And I feel like it's more important than ever. Like, they need to know how to work together. Yeah. And I'm trying to figure out how to do it with, not touching as much as possible. It's so tough.
It's tough to try to create connection when you physically cannot connect as easily.
It is.
Yeah.
It is really hard, and it feels really heavy.
Yeah. I've tried to, this past 2 weeks, I think I mentioned this with our episode with Lee and Cassandra, trying to create lessons that are less on the vocal skill, because I focused a lot on vocal skill before COVID, but more on just, so we're trying to do group shapes, and like amongst the the small room size I have, in conjunction with the COVID regulations, but
which are ever changing,
like literally every 5 minutes.
We just got another letter today. I don't know if you read it yet.
I have not.
They are changing again. Yeah,
this is the sound of a heartbreaking.
I don't. It's not a bad change.
I'm sure it's
just another change.
It's just another change.
Yeah, it's so hard. It's so hard. This is so hard, and I keep wondering how much more can we do. But I have to remember to keep it where it matters. The kids need to know we love them, that we're not going anywhere. My whole goal right now is like make school a place the kids want to be and make sure I don't quit on them. And so take care of myself in a way that I'll last, which is that's tough.
It is.
It's really tough. I want them to know that I'll be there, though. I'm going to follow through on my commitment. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot, but we can do a lot. We're missing a lot of kids in our classes, so there's all these large absences, and I feel like every single class there's at least 4 or 5 kids that don't know what we did last week, so we can't build.
Sure. And
that's okay too. And sometimes the kids, like when I was doing the stick game with them, a few of them, I started from the beginning every time, and it was a little bit of an accelerated version the second, third, and fourth time we did it. But they'd be like, we've already done this before. I say, well, you've already done it before, and I know you're really good at it, but we have a couple people who weren't here, and I want to make sure that they feel like they're part of it. Actually, do you mind being my example, since you seem to remember it really well? Are you willing to come on up here?
Right.
Turn those into the leaders. And yeah. Kids don't really understand others' perspectives. They don't have the brain development for it, so you have to make it explicit.
I remember it was weird. I was 6 years old, and it was like the first time I had an inkling of, well, wait, they see something different. I was sitting down, like we were playing some card game. My brother, my dad, and I were on bed, just like playing card game. And I was like, wait, what my brother sees is something different than what I see. And that was mind blowing. And so and that was like low level. And so, and also that was physical, tangible. So to think about the element of another child empathetically understanding. And it's cool when they see it. It's really cool when you see it.
It is. It's special. It's really cool to see them grow and blossom and come with their own gifts at different times. And remember that the ones who aren't behaving the way you expect them to behave are just in a different place in their development. They need different support. It's not that they're bad. They just are different. Yeah. Oh, man. This went lots of directions. I was not expecting it to.
It's went lots of directions because like this whole situation is just in lots of directions. And we don't have direct control. The keyword is direct control. We don't have direct control. And so I think that for me, what I want to do, and I keep on thinking like I'll revise it in the summer, but I need to start revising it now. Like I need to revise where my energy is going towards. Yeah, because I have a limited amount of energy, and I want to change I want to change my community in a positive way as much as possible, but I only have so much energy. Yeah, I'm realizing it more now.
A mentor of mine made a comment the other day to me about my endless positivity. And I was like, I'm so glad that you think that about me. And I'm getting really tired. And I would like to continue to be a relentlessly positive person. But this is a lot. Yeah. 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 So take care of yourself.
Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself.
Drink water. Sleep.
And I challenge you as well, as much as I want to say, like, take care of yourself. Look at the bigger picture. because I feel like it's easy for us to get soaped, so whatever whatever word you want to do is like you get drenched. There we go. We'll use a D word instead of an S word. It's easy for us to get drenched into this weariness, and I don't want to blame anyone because it's a lot. But
it's a lot.
And again, referencing what Jasandra said last.
That was good advice.
Yeah.
Be careful who you're talking to because you can get sucked down into the negativity vortex.
You can, but there's so much around us that's hard to avoid, and it's easy for us to just focus on our own woes.
Yeah.
Think about the bigger picture and see what you can do for the bigger picture, even in the small or in the big, because a lot of these things it's a two-pronged problem. Like in the one sense, what can you do directly is something that, and for me, it's how can I help my kids?
Yeah.
But what can we do in an aggregate sense? It's bigger than us. So how can we help our admin? Or how can we
honestly,
advocate for music education in our unions?
Yeah.
Like think about the bigger picture with the capacity you have.
Or just how can you be kind to your colleagues right now?
That's true as well.
I went up to a colleague of mine and I gave her a compliment with the way she spoke to one of her kids. Like it was a really small thing, but I was like, that was so beautifully handled. I really admire the language you used and I'm going to remember that phrasing. And she got teary-eyed because she just hadn't heard encouragement like that. I think we're so focused on all the things that we're not doing as teachers. We're not giving ourselves credit and we're not looking for those things in each other. So those random words of kindness mean a lot.
We all need more kindness in this world.
We do.
And justice.
I love that song.
That's my caveat, though, always.
Yeah, Jonathan has to add to it.
I mean, I go back to Doug Goodkin. Joy, justice, jazz. You can't have joy without justice. You can't have justice without joy. And you can have jazz without the two of them, but why would you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was telling Jonathan that to me, justice is inherent in kindness because you can't get kindness mixed up with niceness. And he said, yeah, but the kids don't know that. And I said, well, yeah, but I tell them that. Like you have to, have to tell them that being kind and being nice aren't the same.
My addition also is even adults don't know that. It's easy for us to be saccharine and Pollyannish, but like
that's not genuine.
And justice must also go beyond yourself.
Yeah.
And see the other side. So yeah. And justice towards music education, justice towards equitable teachers being paid appropriately. There's a lot.
There's a lot to unpack here. I used to get really frustrated when I was younger and people would write me off because I'm positive and I try to be kind wherever I go, and I would be written off as naive, and I still am.
I was the opposite.
Yeah.
Sorry, but finish your thought.
That's okay. Well, it's part of my growing up, I guess. Like I'm getting to where I just don't care as much anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, I was more so like, you overthink, John. You were so stuck in your thoughts. Wow, John, like we're just trying to have a good time here. Like it's a bit so it's funny.
I want to take a quick break and thank my husband, Bryan, who's been working behind the scenes producing these episodes every week on all of the platforms and on time. But you need to know that he is first a financial planner for Mission Trails Financial. Mission Trails Financial is a partner that seeks to guide clients in the journey to financial success. They believe that people need a financial advisor that aims to provide strategies for success. Mission Trails Financial helps people navigate investments, tax planning, and insurance. Imagine working with an advisor who isn't tied to specific brands. Mission Trails Financial has a fiduciary responsibility to act in the best interests of their clients by providing independent, objective advice. Their mission is to help clients accomplish their financial goals. As Joe Vitale once said, a goal should scare you a little and excite you a lot. Do yourself a favor and set up a time to chat with Mission Trails Financial. Visit www.missiontrailsfinancial.com or call 619-419-0238 to schedule a call. You'll be glad you did. We believe that leaning on professionals is how we get ahead. Check out the program notes for more information.
Cool. Well, welcome back from the break.
I have a spiccato.
You have a spiccato?
I do.
But before wait. Can we do this?
Oh, yeah.
I want to do it after the...
Oh, got it.
Yeah. Well, welcome back from the break. And breaks are so wonderful, aren't they?
They are.
We just had a really awesome 3-week break. Mm-hmm. But we could also... No. Cut. What? How am I going to say this?
You are struggling.
I know. Maybe you need another drink.
No, I'm cutting you off.
No. Finish the drink, that's all.
Pridmore bar is closed.
You think you would stop me?
I know you know where it's all kept.
So, let's do it. All right. Well, welcome back from the break. But speaking of breaks and speaking of welcomes, we welcome you. You, listener, behind the glass, behind the speakers.
Speaker?
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was thinking with microphone, but I had to go next level. We welcome you to be a part of this community. We have had some awesome emails. We talked about one or on the podcast, a couple episodes. We've also had some awesome guests, and this would not be possible without you. So we welcome you to help us out, to make sure these lights are still on by leaving us a review. It's super important to make sure that we're more visible in front of other people so that we can have some awesome podcasts and have these lights and microphones literally on. So leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, on Google Play, on any podcast listening app you have. And if you're not following us on YouTube already, do so. There's some weird things that we do with our faces. I don't know if you know.
Especially Jonathan.
There's some weird things we do. So go check us out. If you don't want to check us out, that's fine. But do us a favor and subscribe to us. It helps, once again, welcome other people into this community. So.
Yep. And we read all of them.
We do.
And they keep us going.
They do.
So the theme of this whole podcast has been just tiredness. And this is our way of reaching out into the world. So if you're listening to this and you're talking back to us as you're driving, tell us. It means a lot. Yeah.
So please subscribe. Please leave us 5 stars.
Tell your friends.
Tell your friends. Tell your wife. Hide your kids. So
Oh my God. Okay. That was an old reference.
Yes, it was.
Dude, you old.
I'm old. Okay. Hard left turn to the Spiccato.
Know, right. Hard left turn. I brought my Shruti Box. Do you have a Shruti Box?
What
have you seen these?
is a Shruti Box?
You don't know about these? Okay, so this is an Indian instrument.
Oh, yeah, because I'm supposed to know all Indian instruments.
Well, Dave has one, so I just assumed that you'd seen it before, but maybe
possibly.
he hadn't played it for you. I love these things. It's a drone instrument.
Awesome.
And so mine is a smaller one. They make them bigger with more levers, but it's great. Like I can set it to a tone. So I'm just going to make a C major chord here.
So you turn them.
You turn them, and it's got like a bellow. So if you've ever seen a harmonium, it works similarly, but these ones are much more portable. You can get them with shoulder straps on them, so you can kind of wear them like a messenger bag or something. And then it's a drone. And once you get it going, you can fairly simply keep it going.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that's it. It's a really simple little drone instrument. And I love talking to the kids about what a drone instrument is and how it's not the kind of drone that you fly over your neighbor's house and
point.
Ha 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 ha, and then we talk about what a drone is in music. So there you go. That's my Shruti Box.
You don't go on to etymonline.com and see the etymology of the word drone and talk about that? What?
They're not that expensive. I picked this one up for about $100. And it's not the best quality one, but I really like it a lot. There's another bellow on this side too that kind of pokes out. You really do. I'm not sure how it's going to sound on the podcast, so I wasn't really pushing it very hard, but I normally would be getting it going. There it goes. Isn't that cool? So John would beatbox with it.
I like it. And then you switch the levers to...
Yeah, you can change the chord if you would like.
Oh,
you can do it.
Insert an A sharp in here.
Oh, God.
Got your diminished chord there. No.
You can change it while it's going, though, is what I was doing.
Yeah, rude. I was controlling this.
It's my instrument.
I know, but we're doing Spiccato. So what would I do?
How would you use it?
I feel like the obvious answer, and me being the local hipster in this crowd, there's only 2 of us.
We all know it's not me. So.
Actually, it would have been Mark. Let's be real here.
That's real.
I feel like the obvious one is just to sing with a drone.
Yeah.
But
sure.
What else could you do with this beyond that?
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a musical instrument. It's meant to be.
I know sung.
You can sing. We can play along with it with lots of other Orff instruments.
I am thinking about an activity that David Frigo did.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And this is still a music activity with an instrument, but he did it with piano.
Okay.
So you could probably do this one. Something that he did was really cool. He
Forward, backwards, turn.
Yes.
I knew it.
So what he would do is he would select the key you're in. Let's just say it's C major, and if you hear the tonic, tonic, you're walking forward. Once you hear the dominant, the 5, you start walking backward. When you start hearing the subdominant, so maybe the 4, you start twirling around. You can choose whichever chord you want to and incorporate a different kind of movement. I think that would be cool.
My kids love that game. We play it on the playground, and I bring my guitar out.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That is the perfect social distancing game.
I should incorporate that. I tried that pre-COVID.
Okay.
I should incorporate that more mid-COVID.
It's a great one.
Do you have an activity or a song or such?
So I use it all the time to sing to, but this is actually a kid-powered instrument in my classroom.
Okay.
And that's what I love about it. Everybody from about 2nd grade up can get the hang of it. It's not hard because it's so small. And so I let them take turns.
Cool.
And they play along to a lot of different things that we're working on. So we usually have some sort of round that we're doing. And they provide the accompaniment, and it's a big honor for them to get be the person who plays the Shruti Box.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I like it. It's fun. And speaking of that, I'm going to use it for the round of the week. Round of the week. I picked this one out because I thought it was a little bit funny. This is Come to School for an episode about absences.
Oh my gosh.
This is
So wait, is this for the kids to sing or is this for the admin to sing to teachers?
That's what I was thinking. Come to School. So this is by Evan Stevens, and it was written in 1899. So it is in the public domain. I found this one.
Was he a good man?
I have no idea.
Let us know. Was Evan Stevens a good man? Or if you are Evan Stevens, a different one, let us know. Are you a good person?
I mean, I guess he still could be alive. He'd be like 150. This was retrieved from bethsnotes.com.
Okay.
If you don't know about Beth's Notes, it's a very good website. It's very valuable. All right.
You're not sponsored by Beth's Notes.
Come to school with smiling faces at the ringing of the bell. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong bell. Ready? Come to school with smiling faces at the ringing of the bell. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong bell. Come to school with smiling faces at the ringing of the bell. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong bell. Come to school with smiling faces at the ringing of the bell. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong bell.
Ding dong, ding dong bell.
Ta-da!
This reminds me of We Wish You a Long, Long Life.
Oh, it does, doesn't it? I thought it was fun.
Our friend Crystal.
Yeah.
Our friend Evan. We hope you had a good life.
Indeed, we do. Wish him nothing but goodness.
Rest in peace, good sir. Awesome. Crystal, this was a big topic, but it was a good topic.
It was.
But thank you for being part of this. How can people, if they have questions, ask you questions?
You can find me and DM me at Mrs.Pridmore on Instagram. You can find me on Twitter at Fanny Vappa.
And don't do what I did accidentally. Don't video call her without asking permission. I did it, not to you. I did it to Miss Kate Sings. I hit the wrong button.
Oh, that's funny.
It was Akko Taco.
Yep.
Anyways, you can find me.
Rob Amshin did that to me on Facebook Messenger once. It was great.
You can message me or find me or follow me at Mr. Seligman, MrSeligman, on the Instas, on the Twitters, or on the TikToks. And you can find us at CH Classroom on all the socials except for YouTube, youtube.com/ Chaotic Harmony Classroom. And you can email us. Please do email us your thoughts.
Please do.
At chaoticharmonyclassroom@gmail.com.
Especially about this topic. We want to know how you guys are doing.
Yeah,
Let us know how
doing?
you're hanging in there. And if you send us a voice memo, we can play it on the air too. So you can just take it on your phone and email it to us at chaoticharmonyclassroom@gmail.com.
Yeah. Let us know
Hang in there. We're thinking of you. We're sending you guys lots of love.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. The Chaotic Harmony podcast is a joint project between Crystal Pridmore and Jonathan Seligman. You can find us online at chaoticharmonyclassroom.com. You can email us at chaoticharmonyclassroom@gmail and let us know what you think. Give us feedback about what you would like to hear in future episodes. We're on all the socials. Find us on facebook.com/chaoticharmonyclassroom. You can find us on Twitter at @CHClassroom, Instagram at Chaotic Harmony Classroom, and you can even find our episodes on YouTube. Chaotic Harmony is the name of our channel. Special thanks to Bryan Pridmore for his help with production and equipment. www.pridmoria.com. Hey, yeah, I know, right?
Round of the week.
You don't sound like that, Jonathan.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Like that.
Like that.
Like that.
Like a zoo. Like a zoo. Don't make me sing.